Hello, this is Reuben Smith again. I'm going to be introducing a 1-inch formula for the theory of everything today. And I'm going to be reading the first chapter out of my book. And I'm skipping chapters and presenting them in a way that they could be presented in video. If you were reading the book, you would have it there all at one time, and I would present it in different steps. So now I'm presenting my math. And I'm going to start reading from chapter 1. The equal and opposite effect of gravity. Let me start this little book with an interesting math equation to grab the attention of those reading this that are scientific thinkers, the ones who only want facts. Look at these three universal constants: gravity, the speed of light, and the Hubble expansion. For gravity, I used the formula big G divided by Newton times little g. 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11th times 9.8 meter per second squared. I substitute little g for a Newton in the standard big G, for I'm solving for a speed and not a force. Being that the Hubble factor has been determined with observations made from within the gravity field of the Earth, we can substitute little g, 9.8 meters per second for Newton and big G, and use it to signify gravity. The force of the Earth's gravity does change the frequency of light from other galaxies, and we can compensate by using little g instead of a Newton. Imagine a rubber band stretched from the Earth to another galaxy with marks on it like a ruler. The galaxy retreating from the Earth would pull on one end, while the gravity of the Earth pulls on the other end, making the distance between the marks longer. Now compare these marks to the length of the light waves from the galaxy moving toward the Earth. Now we can solve for the expansion rate of the universe in a way never proposed before. Dividing gravity by c, speed of light, we get h, the expansion rate of the universe. Like I say, here's my formula again. Make sure you see that. This proves that h, the expansion rate of the universe, is inversely related to gravity by a common factor of c, the speed of light. Now here is that math factored down. So maybe you can pause if you have to read it. But here's the math. And you see it factors down to 2.18 times 10 to the negative 18th meters per second per meter. This means the universe expanding at 2.8 times 10 to the negative 18th meters per second per meter. 2.18 times 10 to the negative 18th meters per second multiplied by a megaparsec equals the expansion rate of the universe, 67.2 kilometers per second per megaparsec. Like I say, right here. Okay, excuse me, I stumbled. That's why I'm reading straight out of the book. So now it has been deduced with only using two universal constants that the universe expanding at 67.2 kilometers per second per megaparsecs. In December of 2012, after 9 years of collecting data, the WMAP mission calculated the expansion rate as 69.32 plus or minus 0.80 kilometers per second per megaparsecs. The Hubble expansion was determined by the more advanced Planck mission on March 21st, 2013 to be 67.8 kilometers per second per megaparsecs plus or minus 0.77 kilometers per second per megaparsecs. Now, I'm going to skip out of the book here for a second and explain this. Now, I had this formula worked at least 10 to 15 years before these results were given. And when I had this math done, the Hubble expansion was then calculated at between 50 and 100. I had 67, so well, I'm in the ballpark. This is probably right. But can you imagine when here a few months ago I looked on the internet and seen that it had been updated to 67, that my numbers had matched out? Now this is a prediction that my formula made, that would be the expansion rate. So let me go back to reading from the book. What this means is that the force of gravity is the equal and opposite reaction of the expansion rate of the universe. We have always taken it for granted gravity could break Newton's third law. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. I was taught in school that my feet pressing against the earth was the opposite action of the earth pressing against my feet. I can never accept this as an answer. Completely different results than you would think if the universe had been created by a Big Bang. If not a Big Bang, then what caused the universe as we know it? There is nothing as deceptive as obvious fact. That is a quote from Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle, and I think that's an appropriate quote to put after this. There is nothing as deceptive as an obvious fact. Okay, now I've read this and I might have skipped around a little. Like I say, I wish it could be presented in book form. Maybe it will one day if I can get published. But the universe expansion is the opposite and equal reaction to gravity. That can mathematically be proven. That leads to a lot of thoughts, and I will explain dark matter and dark energy in the next chapter, and then we will go on to the creation of the universe and explain about the Big Bang, if it not happened, and what did happen. God bless you, and thank you for listening.